Hello everyone, so this sequence is perfect for after you've been riding your bike, so it's a full body sequence but obviously concentrating on the muscles that we tend to really use on the bike, and it should be quite restorative and relaxing at the same time. It's about 20 minutes or so. Make sure you've got your mat out somewhere nice and comfortable clothes. You've got maybe a cushion or two and your blocks if you have them. We might need them later on. So come down and join me on the mat. We shall first be working on the floor. We can use our cushion behind us. So we'll be lying down in reclined butterfly pose. So just roll down, placing your back onto the cushion, head onto the mat, soles of the feet together, opening the knees out to the side, bringing the arms just slightly out along the floor, and closing the eyes. We'll just take a few nice deep breaths together. Remembering to breathe in and out through the nose, nice deep breaths to stimulate your rest and digest nervous system, to help you relax, lengthen and stretch the muscles and the connective tissues. And remember, if you do have any sharp pain when you move into the postures, just please come out of the pose. But if you've got some discomfort, some stretching sensation, that's exactly what we're looking for. Just breathe through it and try and relax into it. So we'll place the hands onto the belly, either side of the belly button, and we'll take a few nice deep breaths here in to the belly. Inhale deeply into the belly and exhale, letting the belly soften. Inhale deeply into the belly and exhale, letting it soften and lower. Now bring the hands up to the lower rib cage, fingers splayed out nice and wide, pressing in to the rib cage. And inhale into the ribs, feeling them widen and expand with your breath. Exhale, they contract and soften. Inhale, they widen, moving with your breath. And exhale, they soften and contract. Then taking the hands away, keeping those nice deep breaths going. Just open the eyes if you had the eyes closed. Bring the hands to the outsides of the thighs and bring the knees closer together. We'll roll over onto our side for a moment, rolling off your cushion. Place the left hand down onto the ground and we press into that left hand to rise up to sit. Just move that cushion away and we'll come into our tabletop position for a few rounds of our cat and cow to warm up the spine, and try to begin moving or continue moving with your breath. So fingers splayed out nice and wide, pressing into the mat, hands shoulder distance apart, knees hip distance apart and stacked underneath the hips, and toes relaxed behind you. Keep the lower belly lightly engaged, and we're not sinking the chest down, but press into the hands, using the arms engaged to lift up through the back of the body. Inhale, the belly drops, hips and head lift into our cow, and exhale, rounding through the spine, dropping the head, coming into our cat. Inhale, we roll through, arching, gazing forwards. And exhale, tucking the tailbone under, dropping the head and doming up through the upper back. Inhale again, rolling through, gazing forwards. And exhale, Tucking the tailbone under, press into the hands and dropping the head. And we'll stay here for a few breaths into our cat or angry cat position. Inhale, engage through the arms to lift up in between the shoulder blades. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, come back to a flat spine. We're going to lift up that right arm, lifting up, coming into our thread the needle, bringing that right hand in between the gap between the left hand and the left knee, sinking down onto the mat, onto that right shoulder, and stretch out that left arm. Take a few breaths here, nice and heavy onto that right shoulder. Inhale deeply through the nose and exhale. Coming back into your tabletop position, moving through into the other side. So as you inhale, we lift that left arm up, gazing up, and then exhale, threading that hand in between the gap, coming down onto that left shoulder. Stretch out that right arm. Hips up high, relax the toes, holding here for a couple of breaths. Inhale, exhale, sinking down heavy onto that left shoulder. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, we rise back up into our tabletop to take a little stretch through the calves. So we're going to stretch out the right leg, lengthening it away, coming onto the right toes and press out through that right heel. Keep pressing the hands into the mat and keep breathing in and out through the nose. Inhale, keep pressing out through that heel, stretching out through the calf, the back of the leg. And exhale, we'll release that knee down. Moving through to the other side, so stretch out that left leg, stretch it out, coming onto left toes. Press out through that left heel, keep pressing hands into the mat. Exhale. Inhale, stretching through the back of that left leg. And exhale, releasing that knee back. Coming into our plank pose, so you might need to walk the hands forwards, lifting the knees off the mat, coming into our plank, one long line with the body, shoulders stacked over the wrists, and then exhale, bringing the hips up and back into our downward facing dog, where we're going to pedal through the feet, a little bit like you were pedaling on the bike, but with a nice low cadence. So we're just moving slowly through the feet. One knee bends, stretching out through one leg. Then the other knee bends, stretching out through the other leg. Keep that going, bending one knee at a time, working through the feet, the backs of the legs, in time with your breath. So really stretching through the hamstrings, the calves, the Achilles, the feet. One more time on each side. And then as you exhale, we'll bend both knees down to the mat, relax the toes, walk the knees slightly back on your mat. And then we're going to sink down, sinking the chest down, coming into our puppy. To open through the shoulders, the chest, bring the forehead down onto the mat, press into the hands. So often when we're cycling, we're hunched over the bike, shoulders rounding forwards. So here we're counteracting that by opening through the shoulders and lengthening through the back and opening the chest. Nice deep breath here. Inhale and exhale, sinking that chest down. Inhale, we're going to walk the hands back in line with the head, lift up to our tabletop position. And then stepping the right foot forwards, We move into our low lunge to stretch through the hip flexor. Walk that right foot slightly out. This will help stabilize you, bring a more stable posture, and then we lift up. Hands onto the back. Remember to tuck the tailbone under, looking for that nice stretchy sensation in the front of that left hip flexor. Pressing the hips forwards and down. We'll hold here for a breath. Inhale, torso is away from the front thigh. Exhale, release those hips down. Inhale, we press into the front foot to back off from the lunge. Place both hands down onto the mat. Or if hands don't reach, let me just grab my blocks. I'll show you. You can use the blocks. So blocks either side of the mat. We stretch out that right leg, flex the right foot. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, hinge from the hips, trying to fold up and over that lengthened leg. Gazing at your big toe and hold here. So stretching through the back of the leg, hamstring, calf, releasing down. Inhale, we're going to rise up, place the sole of the right foot down onto the mat. Just move the blocks, and we're going to take the legs out wide to the side, wide straddle position with the legs for our ninja squats. So walk the hands over to the right, exhale, bending the right knee, press into that left foot and lengthen through the left inner thigh. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, we come up to center, walk the hands over to the left, bending the left knee. Inhale, dropping the hips down, press into the right foot, lifting the right inner arch of the foot. Exhale, breath here. Inhale, we come back to center, walk the hands back, pivot round to the front of your mat, and step that front leg back. We move through to the other side for our low lunge position as the first posture. So stepping the left foot forwards, slightly over to the left side to help our stability, and then rise up with the torso. Engage the lower belly, hands onto the back, lower back, the sacrum, tuck the tailbone under, and then sinking the hips down towards the mat. Looking for a stretch through that right hip flexor, front of the right hip. 1. Inhale, nice deep breath, and exhale deeply here. Inhale, we rise back, placing hands down onto the mat or fingertips or blocks, and we lengthen that front leg, stretching out. Flexing the left foot. Inhale, we lengthen, and then exhale, hinging up and over. Gazing at the big toe. The flexed foot will increase the stretch through the bottom or the back of that left leg. Inhale, nice deep breath, and exhale, trying to fold deeper. Inhale, we rise up, bring sole of the foot down, and we'll just step back to our tabletop position here. Tuck the back toes under, lifting up into our downward facing dog. It's a nice little transition. Move through the feet, and then we're going to work into our pigeon pose. So we're going to bend that right knee, bring that right knee down towards the right hand, bring that shin out towards the left hand, and then sink the hips down low to the mat. Inhale, lift up, gazing forwards, and then exhale, we fold forwards and down over that front shin. Try and square the hips. So there's a tendency to roll over onto the right side. Try and roll that left hip down towards the mat. Take a nice deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, we walk the hands back. The front foot, lift up. We'll use our downward facing dog to transition to the other side. So lift up. Take a moment here before you bend that left leg. Left knee down towards the left hand. Shin comes out. Don't worry if it doesn't come out very far. It just depends on your own flexibility, sinking that back knee down, lengthening through that back leg. Inhale, we first lengthen, and then exhale, hinging forwards and down. Releasing head down to the mat or on blocks or onto the fists. Inhale, trying to square those hips. So right hip coming down towards the mat. Exhale, one more breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, we bring the hands back to the head, lifting up the torso. And this time we just sink the left hip down to the mat, bring the back leg round to the front, and we'll move through to a little seated twist. So bending the right knee in, step it over the left. We've done this pose before. So we place that right hand behind you, close towards the back, left arm round that lifted knee. And first inhale, lengthen, and then we twist round towards the right. Keep hugging that knee in. Or if you wish to go deeper, you can bring the outside of that left elbow to that right knee, gazing in the direction that you're twisted. Inhale, we lengthen, and then we exhale, we twist further. Inhale, come back to center. We'll just counter twist for one breath. Always feels good. Exhale, inhale back to center. We swap the legs over. So left leg in. Make sure you're on both sit bones. Step the left foot over the right leg. Left hand behind you. Hug that lifted knee in with your right arm. Inhale, lengthen up, and then exhale, we twist around towards the left. Inhale, we lengthen, and exhale, twisting further round. Inhale, back to center, counter twist the other way for one breath, and then we come back to center. Rolling down onto your mat. We're just going to roll over onto the left side of the body. Just move away from my hip. So left side of the body. We're going to bend that right knee to the top knee, clasping the foot, so we're having a little quad stretch here. Bring that foot close in towards the glutes. Stretch it in, keep pressing the hips forwards. And then exhale, release. We'll roll onto the other side. Bending that top leg, that left leg. Bring that foot close in towards the glute. Keep pressing the hips forwards. And then exhale, release. Rolling back onto the back. Make sure that you've got a block handy. I'm going to bend the knees, feet hip distance apart. Taking our bridge pose, but a more restorative version by using our block. So hips will be lifting up. Feet are quite close towards the hips. Maybe you can touch the backs of your heels. And then we press into the feet, lifting the hips up. And we're going to take our block and place the block underneath our back, onto the bony part of your back, your sacrum, and let the hips just relax, the back relax down. Arms along the mat. Take a few breaths here. Really trying to sink heavy onto the block. So ideally you want to use something like a block, something that's quite stiff and stable rather than cushions, so that it can take your weight. So opening through the chest here, the shoulders, not using the glutes, the hamstrings to keep those hips lifted, but just using the block. And it can help to release through the lower back. You can stay here as long as you wish, but I'll just take another couple of breaths. On your next inhale, press into the feet, lifting the hips up. Remove your block out to the side. Take the feet slightly wider apart. Arms out to the side. So maybe you can feel the edges of your mat with the soles of your feet. And then we're going to just windshield wiper the legs from side to side. This is great for loosening and relaxing through the lower back. So as we take a nice deep inhale, we'll exhale, drop the knees over towards the right. Inhale up to center. Exhale, drop them over towards the left. Inhale up to center. Exhale over towards the right. Inhale up to center and exhale over towards the left. Inhale up to center, and then just release the legs along the mat, coming into a final relaxation, Shavasana. Arms just slightly away from the body, close the eyes, relax the breath. Feet hip distance, mat distance apart, let them just roll out. And take a few moments of stillness, letting the body relax and melt onto the mat.